Hello, I'm Kaiser and welcome to Moose Reads. Before I get started, I want to say that the opinions that I give here are my own opinions. They are extremely subjective. If I dislike a book, it is not a reflection on the author, and it is not a reflection on people who do like it. Different people have different tastes, and that's okay. Today, I will be reviewing Remnants of Filth Volume 4 by Roubao Bushiro. This is a fantasy romance. The description says, Gu Mong has emerged from the time mirror a changed man. With his shattered memories recovered, he sets out to distance himself once more from his erstwhile lover, Mo Ji. In turn, Mo Ji finds himself powerless against a Gu Mong who is both so familiar and yet so cruel. Regardless, if the two hope to complete their mission and return to Changhua, they must work hand in hand to escape the demon-infested island. Meanwhile, Mo Ji's own experience in the time mirror has left him more certain than ever that some secrets still linger behind Gu Mong's treasonous defection 8 years ago. He's determined to dig up the truth at any cost, even the cost of his own life. 5 stars. This book was excruciating in the best way. It starts off by lulling you into a false sense of calm with some silly shenanigans. It's fun and funny and you're having a great time. And then it takes a sudden turn into heartbreak territory and it never stops. This book managed to do several things that I wouldn't have thought possible just one volume back, including completely recontextualize a scene we only just got in the last book, explaining why Gu Mong stabbed Mo Ji in the heart in a way that's totally reasonable, and convincing me that the Emperor is not a manipulative asshole. Pretty sure it set up a few surprises for the next couple of volumes too, but that's just speculation. Honestly, I have no idea what to say about this book. I loved it, it was agony, I need more right now. That's it for no spoilers. If you don't like spoilers, now is the time to pause or close the video. For everyone else, let's talk details. The book starts with Mo Ji and Gu Mong disguising themselves as bat demons so they can spy on the Bat Queen to find a safe way off the island. The Bat Queen chooses Mo Ji to be her companion for the evening, and he narrowly escapes the awkward situation when Gu Mong, disguised as a bat maiden, curses him for being impotent. Then, thanks to some aphrodisiac incense that only affects demons, and a hut designed to keep people inside until they do the deed, Gu Mong ends up in a fuck or die scenario. It's all fun and lighthearted, and I was having a blast. And then I was viscerally reminded that these two have a very awkward relationship in which they both desperately want to be together, but Gu Mong thinks it's impossible because Mo Ji is too good for him, and Mo Ji thinks Gu Mong hates him. But they get on with it anyway in the most emotionally painful sex scene I've ever read, though it's still better than anything Scumvillain had going on. Released from both of their immediate problems, Gu Mong recalls a spy spell he had placed on the Queen, and they can leave the island safely. They take a moment to find out who the human she fell in love with, though, because Gu Mong is nosy. Turns out it's the guy who, once upon a time, trained up the slave that eventually founded the Lao Kingdom. The Bat Queen seems to think he was immortal, and I feel like her memories kind of bear that out, but this comes as a surprise to both fellows, who are certain that he never achieved immortality. I'm pretty sure they're wrong, though. At this point, I'd be willing to bet on him being our big bad and the guy running the Lao Kingdom right now. Given how the rest of this volume went, I suspect there's a lot more to that story of betrayal as well, and I'm looking forward to being proven right. Speaking of being proven right, I thought basically from the first volume that the Emperor sent Gu Mong to the Lao Kingdom as a spy, and I felt more certain of that after the last volume, and it turns out I mostly hit the mark. I thought he sent Gu Mong knowing full well that he wouldn't keep any of his promises, but it turns out he honestly intended to. Things just haven't gone according to plan. Where I was completely wrong, however, was in my guess on how the author would resolve the stabbing thing. I was sure the only way I could get past that was if it turned out that Gu Mong was compromised in some way that made it not really him stabbing Mo Ji. Only, it turns out he was completely in control, and I'm still okay with that. Moji unknowingly put Gumong in an impossible situation. He couldn't turn back from the Lao Kingdom, both because he had a job to do and he had demonic magic carved into his bones, and Moji wouldn't back off, so what was the man to do? Stabbing was certainly effective, and Moji is fine, so who am I to complain? I also feel like I owe Lu Zhongxing an apology. You know, aside from him being both dead and fictional, and thus not caring. Turns out he's not an asshole who stabbed Gumong in the back for the most asinine reason imaginable. He didn't stab him in the back at all, and now I feel bad for him. After the last volume, I kind of got the impression that Zhang Yishui and Murong Chuyi were also in a secret relationship, and this volume only made me more suspicious. Is that just me? I wouldn't be surprised if I turn out to be wrong, but given how Zhang Yishui seems to know how to handle Murong Chuyi, they have a secret messaging system, and Murong Chuyi was slipping away from Zhang Yishui's room in the middle of the night, you can hardly blame me for thinking there's something going on. Lastly, shout out to Princess Mengzi for being an absolute champ. She knows Moji doesn't love her. She maybe is starting to realize he does love Gumong, and she's still willing to put her own health at risk to save Gumong because Moji is desperate. I have to appreciate a character who says it doesn't matter what his feelings are, I'll still support him because of my own. I hope she finds someone who can appreciate her, but I kind of suspect she won't. I'm kind of desperate for the rest of this series, which is a real shame. Volume 5 comes out in November, and I have every intention of getting to that as soon as possible, but supposedly there are going to be 7 volumes, and while Volume 6 is supposed to come out in February, Seven Seas does not have the last volume anywhere in their release schedule. So unless that changes, it looks like I'll be in for a very long wait. That's all I have to say about Remnants of Filth Volume 4. If you like this video, I hope you'll watch more in the future. Thanks for watching this one. Bye!